sound surprised.
Yeah, well, we're miles up and you're afraid of heights.
I'm not afraid. Just not mildly keen.
Fee, fi, fo, and fum.
Get out.
Like mankind, so well done. Fallon likes them raw and red, freshly snatched and not quite
Don't worry.
dead.
I'll get you out.
I had this, Jack. I took my eye off the ball just for a moment, but I had this. Ow, careful.
Take this.
Got it.
Tasty treats, lentil eats.
Great. Well, good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Thank
and
you.
Your Royal Highness, thank you for welcoming me to your beautiful palace.
Home.
Yes, yeah, home. Yes, exactly. I have to ask both of you, before you worked on this film, obviously there were some scenes shot here. Had you been to Hampton Court as a kid or in school? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was fantastic to come back here and say, hello, this is my home. You know, that's nice. So, yeah, it's an amazing place to work. It's an amazing place to be. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Is it for you? Had you been here before?
I had, yeah. I think it's part of the curriculum, really, growing up in England, where you go to Hampton Court on school trips.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic to be back here and sneak around and go in the maze and just get, you know, it's pretty epic to be on set on a real location like this with such a history.
Incredible history, for sure. Well, you know, it's fun. I mean, obviously in this film there's a lot of physicality. I mean, we know there's movie magic and so forth, but it looked like that both of you had to kind of put yourself out there a little bit physically, as well as the skills you have to bring to it as an actor.
I got beat up pretty good on this.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had some good bruises, but then that's all part of it. When you commit to a film like this, where there is quite a lot of action and physical stuff, we trained a fair bit, climbing as well beforehand, practicing, so that we could get out the beanstalk.
Yeah.
It's trickier than it looks, but that's part of the challenge, and it's fun, I think, to throw yourself at that. I think the most difficult stuff was the rain. It was always raining.
Yeah, it was
Like today.
always
Wet and
raining.
cold.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be inside, actually, at this point. Well, you know, it's interesting because to do this kind of film, and I thought they really did a terrific job with the 3D and with the special effects and so forth. Sometimes those things are more appropriate in films than others. Here it was very appropriate. But as an actor, obviously that brings added challenges, because often you're not really there's things that you're acting against a green screen or whatever kind of thing. What was that like for you?
Hard work, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing. That's when you kind of depend on Bryan to kind of talk you through it and to show you previews of what he's planned and what the giants are looking like, how the movement of the scene is going to play out. So, yeah, I mean, working with tennis balls is never easy, but, you know, I really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic experience.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Bryan, you know, what are some of the things that he told you that he felt was really important, you know, like even before you started filming, you know, when you obviously were chatting about the film?
I mean, mainly for us, I mean, obviously he already had big, grand ideas for the overall scope and scale of the film and how the giants would look and everything like that. But mainly for us, it's just our relationship, you know, they're two young people who meet perchance, and then, you know, they're both looking for something more. They both feel kind of trapped in their lives, and then they connect and kind of bring out the best in each other, and also manage to have a rollicking good adventure along the way.
Well, it's true. I thought, you know, one of the things I thought was interesting is here, you know, you are the princess in this, you know, trapped in this royal cocoon, which I think even in modern days people can sort of identify with, people that have to live in that world. I mean, we've seen a lot of it, especially with the media attention. And yet, and your character is a kid who strives for a more exciting world, and he's sort of trapped on that farm. And I think it's sort of interesting you have the adventure thing, two sides of the coin.
Yeah, completely. They both want to escape and see the world.
Absolutely. And that relationship is really important between them when, you know, the movie depends on him following her up the beanstalk. So, you know, we had to create a relationship within a scene right at the beginning of the film. So that was kind of, you know, that was very difficult, and it took us quite a while to kind of find the right balance of that. So.
That's right. Yeah, you've got to have that chemistry. It's got to click, and it's got to, you know, obviously come through the screen. You know, one of the things I was curious is the appeal of this sort of the Jack and the Beanstalk, with Jack and the Giant Slayer. This myth, which has gone through many cultures, It's been around for a long time. Why do you think it's an enduring sort of story that people love coming back to?
Oh, everyone likes to root for the underdog, don't they? And I mean, I think being eaten by something a lot bigger than you is terrifying.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
you've got a little guy trying to stop people getting eaten, I think you've got to support them, haven't you?
Oh, are you the little guy? What, 6'4", Nick Holt? You're the little guy.
In this film, yeah. And
Wow,
you've got
okay.
these massive fellas, and they're scary, and they move quickly, and they've got great personalities, and they're very smart. But I think that's part of the appeal of the story.
Yeah, definitely. And it's always exciting now to see where they can go with CGI and special effects. And
amazing.
there's so much now that they couldn't do back in the day. So that's always enticing for audiences. And it's a great family movie. And I think that people love to kind of go to the cinema with their family and watch something that everyone
Talk
can
about
enjoy.
working with the two of them, because they're great, and it's fun to see Stanley play this kind of. He's played some very chilling villains in the past, although he's mostly plays good guys. This time it was sort of fun to see him play this kind of character with his Rodrigo guy.
Yeah, he has a lot of fun on set, and there's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it kind of transforms physically, and everything to watch it with him is fascinating.
Yeah, he is he's a brilliant performer, and he is amazing to watch. And with this being my first kind of big film, big break, both of them were just so supportive. They were really nice. They kind of took me under their wing and made sure that I was okay, and that's priceless to have that. So.
And Ewan was wonderful too. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
great to see.
and same for
really
Nick as
fun.
well. You know, Nick really helped me through it, and
I think you helped me through it. It's nice because they're big scale productions, and there's a lot going on, and to have a really great cast like you and those guys, and with Bryan helming it all. It just makes you feel pretty safe and relaxed about the whole thing.
Well, this kind of a film, obviously, every film is an ensemble, approach. I mean, it's the people behind the camera as well as the people obviously in front of the camera. But especially in this film, it was a real, ensemble feeling, which is important because that's what drove the story. Thinking back on it, first of all, any funny moment that you like when you think back on making Jack the Giant Slayer, you'll never forget. Either it was a tough day of shooting or something funny that happened that you remember.
it was a prank that Nick Holt played on me along with
wasn't
Bryan and
set
along
up
with the
by me.
entire crew.
There was a day when we set up that whilst we were filming in Norwich Cathedral, there were lots of suits of armour along the walls, and we got Matt, one of the props guys, dressed in one of the suits of armour. Didn't tell Eleanor. Everyone else knew. Everyone had their phones out, and she thought she was coming to film a little clip of a scene. Ran into the shot. Everyone's filming. Turns around. She's like, "Jack!" And then suddenly the suit of armour just goes with the guy inside lurching towards you, and you jumped 10 foot out of your skin, didn't
Yeah, I did.
you? We all had a good laugh at that.
Well, and then the other thing, the most challenging thing for you in making this movie, I would assume there's a lot of challenging things, but when you think about what was the toughest thing?
The pressure was kind of quite a lot. This is a big thing for me. It's a big thing for everyone. But it's my first break. I wanted to make a good impression. I wanted to do everyone in the movie justice, and I wanted to do the character justice because it's not often that you get handed a role that is this amazing. So that was kind of quite intense, but I loved it. I really embraced the challenge.
That's terrific. And Nick, for you, quick.
Yeah, I think along the same lines in many ways. You just want to make something that people can go to the cinema and enjoy, and they want to root for your character. And luckily, there were so many great people working on this film that they made it very, very easy for us in many ways. And I'm really pleased with the end result.
It should be. I am too. I think it's very good, and it's a fun movie, and it's a great ride. It really is. It's a nice adventure. Good family film. It was a good point. How much fun you had to have doing this, and Chris, one of the things you've played some incredibly scary bad guys. I mean, Adolf Eichmann,
Yes.
the neighbor from hell, and
Yes,
The Lovely Bones,
yeah.
which is a
Yeah.
phenomenal performance.
Yeah.
But normally we think of you with fun people, but in this role you got to do both. You're a bad guy, but you've got there's a lot of humor with this, and you
Yeah.
get to play off of each other a lot.
And that was the attraction, was you got to do both, and to play the British bad guy I was very flattered, as an American but also then I got to work with Ewan again. We hadn't seen each other work together for a long time, so that was really nice.
We did a film called Life Less Ordinary many years ago.
I remember.
Where we had a very amusing scene.
Yeah.
Or two.
Yeah.
No, exactly. So you have a number of amusing scenes here, I
Yes.
must say.
Yeah.
And they really did a lot of different things with you, running around, and obviously there's movie magic, but there's a lot of physicality, I think, in the
Yes.
actors in this film.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, it's exciting, that stuff. It's exhausting, particularly as you get older, but it's really quite fun. I think the fight scene was fun. It was hard, but it was fun to do it together.
Absolutely. And I understand from Bryan that, and I share this with you as well, do not like heights.
No.
And you don't like enclosed places. And of
Yeah.
course, what does he do? He sticks you in a burrito and
Yeah.
wraps you up for days,
A
probably
medieval
shooting
burrito.
that medieval burrito for giants. And then
Yeah.
you're on the edge of a cliff.
Oh no, yeah, that I couldn't deal with that. you weren't there when I was shooting that Cheddar Gorge stuff.
No.
You know, I had to be right on the edge, as I'm looking over, and then the giants come behind me and blah blah blah. And I was so afraid. They had me tethered,
Yeah.
just for safety. But I was so petrified, and they would take quite a while sometimes setting up the shot that I freaked out. I was like, okay, I gotta go, and I just would walk away. I was
Walk
so
away
afraid.
from the edge.
I was
Yeah.
afraid.
No, it's horrible.
No,
That's horrible.
it's fun.
It's a gripping story.
It is a good story,
So
actually.
boring. So boring.
But I have to ask you, this whole Jack the Giant Slayer, Jack and the Beanstalk, whatever, it's, this has lasted for centuries, the story, and it's universal. What do you think is the universal appeal of this tale?
Fear of big people.
Basically, yeah.
That's where it comes
Yeah, yeah.
Very good point. Who could eat you?
Right.
That's
Who
right.
could eat you? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's not a moral tale.
It's good family fun.
It is. Good, clean fun.
Yes,
Good characters,
Yeah.
fantasy land, time, castles and knights and horses and
Yeah.
giants. I don't know.
It's everything that you have a great time reading about or imagining about when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And I think also there's something there for adults too, which is, it's a movie that you want to take your kids to because it's really fun.
Absolutely. And I understand that the idea of those the teeth was your addition to the whole makeup look of your character.
Yes, it just seemed like the right thing to do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's great teeth.
Yeah.
And those costumes, your costume in particular, as I sit here looking at that shield and all of this
right
stuff,
behind
and
you there,
hearing
yeah.
It is right behind me. Not very comfortable, I would think.
No, but gorgeous. Look at it. It's so sexy. I've been waiting all my life to wear black leather biker studded armor. I couldn't believe it when I went for my first fitting and I saw the drawings. I thought, oh yes, that'll do nicely. I think it's gorgeous, but it's not easy to climb in, and a lot of the time it was raining all the time and muddy, and it's not easy to walk around in. But then the real armor back in the day wasn't easy to walk around in either. So
And that's just like a thick rubber.
not
not
even metal. no.
Metal.
Yeah,
Oh, God, it looks good.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sword would go right through that.
Yeah,
it
right
would,
through that.
yeah.
On every set, I know there's always funny things that happen. There's either because of weather or something goofy or a line gets. When you think back on making this movie, there was, besides standing on the cliff, was there a scene that you'll never forget doing, particularly together?
Well, we'll never forget doing that. It feels in many ways that we're still shooting that scene because it took so long to shoot the fight scene.
The fight scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wake up sometimes and go, oh, it's okay, I'm not making that scene anymore.
We shot that scene for about
3.5 years.
Yeah.
And
did,
it was
yeah.
a fight scene in a waterfall. Easy to write,
Yeah.
not so
Yeah.
easy to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it was fun. It was fun because we get on and we had a laugh doing it. But
We
it's
did.
difficult. You're fighting. You've got weapons, and you're slipping, and it's
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
That's great.
We're lucky still to be alive in many ways.
I do remember the one. We are, yeah. I do remember the one scene where we shot in that place that we can't remember the name of, down in those gullies there, those cave-like things. And Eddie,
I know what you
remember
mean,
when we
yeah.
were doing, we kept laughing that one day, and we couldn't get through the scene. I don't know, and something set us off. You don't know what it is, but it took a long while because we kept laughing. But Eddie said a line, and it was very muddy, very muddy. And Eddie said a line, and as he said the line, his foot sunk. Do you remember? And he was like, he said something like, it was that line, and believe every story that your fathers told you was true. And he said, and believe every story your fathers told you was true. And he started just sinking into the... It was really funny. I didn't know.